Hi everyone. Hi Destiny. Good afternoon and welcome to today's market color recap session. This is going to be quite straightforward, quite fast. We did a detailed analysis this morning by 8:30 a.m. where we shared our insights on commodity currencies and indices. I saw Destiny online this morning, but for the sake of those of us who are on YouTube, if you missed that session, you can just watch the recap on our YouTube page, Value Flow Trading, so that you can see a more detailed breakdown of what we saw this morning. For now, let's just look at the recap of what the market has done so far. So, as at this morning, I stated that I was seeing more downside bias for AUD/USD and NZD/USD, which we see is still playing out. We saw, I'm going to stick to M5, where we drew out our specific entry points and price broke below that zone and retested, right? So we tested this zone. I'm seeing that it's very possible that price is going to eventually violate our H1 trend, break below that zone and continue selling, except we find support at that zone. But from what we're seeing so far, our analysis is playing out as we stated. The sales are very much in play. Everything is downward. On NZD/USD as well, same thing. We stated a downside perspective of bias, and NZD/USD is still selling to the downside. For USD CAD as well, USD CAD, we had a buy bias, but we're looking at a temporary sell into this zone. We wanted USD CAD to sell into 1.36816 so that we could get a good enough zone to start buying from. But so far, it's looking like USD CAD is not going to buy back into that level, and this move might just continue regardless. I'm not going to jump in. I still want to see it sell down here so that I am not entering at a very high price. I would prefer to buy low. So when price comes back into the zone and gives me confirmation, I will take a buy. This is the level I'm looking at. So is the pullback. So is the momentum. So for those of us that don't have the indicators, it's pretty easy. You're looking at 36816. The second level we're looking at is 36606. And then the third level we're looking at is 36272. So levels of interest, retrace into those zones, give me confirmation, and I'll be buying USD CAD. For NZD/USD, our sell is still ongoing, and so is AUD/USD. Let me see if I see a few names that joined us this morning. Mr. Destiny, did you take advantage of this morning's analysis on commodity currency? I'm not sure if the rest of us did, but if you did and you took advantage of it, please let me know. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so without taking too much more of our time, we're going to dive into the second aspect, focusing on indices in less than 30 seconds. Let's see if we saw trading opportunities on those asset classes and if they are playing out like we discussed earlier. Okay, so please do not go anywhere. We'll be back very, very shortly. Cheers. God bless.
Hello, welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. It's the second part of this market color. We'll be looking at the market once again this afternoon. Really speaking, nothing has happened so dramatic or interesting per se, right? I mean, give me a sec. I'm trying to check my. Okay, and see my screen now. All right, so yes, 30. Really nothing interesting has happened though. To be very honest with us, the market is still very much where we left it in the morning, or just a little movement nothing significant really has happened, right? 8 o'clock, this is where 8 o'clock was, right? 8 o'clock, we had this rally. This set the downside 9 rally, and by 2, yeah, almost at the same spot again. Nothing really interesting has happened, and I believe that's because of just the way the market is currently for now, right? Like I mentioned this morning, I won't take much of our time. Like I mentioned this morning, I wish this swept through this zone. That would have given us, reasons to want to short this market from here. But then even as at now, price didn't even come to this zone. So everything is still a bit dicey. Probably by time, let me skip to 15 minutes if something interesting can be seen. Even on 15 minutes, truth be told, nothing really interesting is here on 15 minutes. Nothing really interesting is here, right? Everything looks a bit screwed, right? So for this reason, let us look to US 100 and then that's NASDAQ to see if there's anything that is going to be of interest to us today. Okay, probably something around this zone, break of structure here, and then this fair value gap, which price we don't, but it's not interesting, guys, except we're trying to force the markets to do what we want it to do. Of a truth, this market is going to sell. We've been shouting that since morning, and then we know it's going to sell. But the entry, specific level of entry, I mean, I know that's what most people are interested in, right? We don't have that yet. Except if you have other methods you use to enter the market, fine and good, you can look for your sell entry and then take them. I believe you'll have done that even from morning, right? But now looking on what the market is doing, there's really no clear-cut entry. Okay, clear-cut entry, except you want to do like a sweep of liquidity, break to the downside, structural liquidity, and then you want to say price comes here and then enter again. These are trades that are not really, they are not A plus kind of trade setup for me, right? And then your entry, your sell position wants to be here, something like this. These are not A plus setup for me, honestly. And then 1:3, 1:2, around here, 1:3. You can look at this, right? But this is just me trying to force a trade, though. Really clear like that. They can use our Nigerian English, right? But then this looks a bit on 15 minutes, looks quite really interesting. Probably it can work. If you want to take this kind of a trade, just ensure that your risk is properly managed. You're not risking or normal 10%, 5%, 3%, or even 1%. You want to de-risk it as 0.25. Yes. Sometimes I take trades like that, 0.25, if I really feel compelled to trade. But if I don't even feel compelled to trade, I won't take the trade, right? So it's better having no position in the market is better than losing money randomly in the market. All right, that being said, this is what we are seeing on US 100, which is the NASDAQ, right? I believe we have almost the same thing on S&P 500. Interesting. Yeah, we have almost the same thing on S&P 500, right? So very good. We might want to start buying from this other block on S&P 500. S&P 500 other block, and then price might not even come back to retest it. That's one funny thing again. Okay. But then for those that have itchy finger, I want to trade by fire by force. Yeah, you have this for yourself, and then 1:3, first take profits. Okay, so this looks like a really good, trade entry for me, and not so well what I want to see, but then just for the sake of those that I really want to, take something in the market, you can give this entry like a trial, at least risk 0.25% on the first setup and the second setup, taking US 100 and also S&P 500. That would be like 0.5% on this account. I'm using the calculation that you're using an account over $10,000 or $100,000 for those trading prop, right? So you want to stick with these parameters so that regardless of whatever happens, you are protected, right? The downside is already protected, and then we can see what happens with the upside. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining this session. That will be all for today. Like we said, yes, oil is still rallying to the upside. Very good for it. However, because of the old tension, our normal pairs are selling off, which is fine. I mean, it's fine. War cannot just go on for long. We believe very soon they're going to come to a compromise. Both of them, both parties will find a middle point, and I believe that will be the beginning of our rally once again. All right. Thank you, Destiny, Ezekiel, God's Power, Gold, Joseph, St. Paul, Stephen, Modia, and Osarati. Thank you for joining the session. Let me know, do you have any questions so far? Do you have any questions so that we can look at them together before we call it a day? We can say thank you so much. Really appreciate. Tomorrow's session will be by 8:30 again. In this session, we'll be looking at gold, yen, dollar index, right? All the asset class under those pair, GU, EU, GJ, UJ, and EJ too, right? And then gold. Should we place limit entry for some? Of course, yeah. I use most of my trade with limit entries, right? So, but then ensure you are saving yourself in the downside, right? You're protecting yourself. That's the word, right? So protect yourself. Use minimum risks, right? Ensure you're not risking don't take your normal usual risks. Use something very minimal, and then so that whatever it is that happens, you are protected. Like me for now, it's just when I came to this chart that I'm trying to strangle, I had to come down to 15-minute time frame to see the setup. Usually my setup are 1 hour, 4 hours, and then I'm good, right? Because there are lesser noise on that time frame. But then sometimes if you just want to take something off the market, yes, of course, you can go to lower time frame scaling and then take those trades. All right. So you can do that. Place the limit entry and then wait for the market to do what it wants to do. I believe we're going to have a beautiful trade. All right. Thank you so much for joining, guys. We'll see you tomorrow again. Until next time. Cheers and God bless. I'm seeing a question. I don't know. All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much.